Now we're going to paint a brown trout. Seal the fish with base coat sealer. Put a good nice coat of it on there. Get caught up on the other two, and I'll show you what we do next. Now we're going to paint our fish solid white. Sometimes I kind of like the spotting. Sometimes I'll darken them in with a Sharpie pen because usually it'll bleed through my other colors. Usually. And when it does that, then I can just put the spots back in where they are on the original fish. If you look at this one, there is no spotting pattern. So we're going to do one. One that doesn't have any spotting pattern, and then try to do one that does have a natural spotting pattern, if it works right. Make sure you widen him out real good. Make sure you get the belly good. Notice how the color of the Sharpie pen kind of bleeds through. I kind of learned to appreciate that. If you like using some of the original spots. Got some silver pearls. And I'm just putting a good coat of pearl on the fish. You go ahead and pearl the whole fish if you want to, the belly. Pretty much everywhere you put white. Oh, make sure you get the head and the jaw real good with the pearl also. Cheeks, gills. Now go ahead and get eyes a good cleaning. A Q-tip and lacquer thinner. Maybe roll it one time on a paper towel so you don't have excess. Try to replicate that copper color along the back. And you see how it comes down the side. And there's pretty much just one way that I know of really making that awesome copper color. That's from the Ron Reynolds paint schedule. Step number 6, using a 3-part mixture of silver, burnt umber, and yellow ochre. 3 equal parts. And that gives you that awesome copper color that you're looking for a brown trout. And what we're going to do with that awesome copper color, we're going to go along the back, and the paint schedule says to fade at the lateral line, but I'm going to take it a little bit further down, probably at least the halfway point. Pretty much anywhere you're going to put a spot, I like to have a little bit of that copper color back behind it. And then after we apply the copper color, a good medium coat, then we're going to go with yellow ochre along the bottom here and let it come up and meet into the brown. Then after that, we want to have the bluish stripe. We want it shows under the spots, but it also shows on the spots. So basically we're going to put a blue stripe through here, kind of a deep blue color. If you noticed, I don't know if you can see it, But you see that blue stripe through the center of the fish? It's on there. And we definitely want to replicate it. Now, on a lot of these fish, it shows right around the eye, behind the eye, the cheek a little bit. Then, of course, onto the midsection of the body. If you look around the face area, well, especially this one right here, you can see it a little bit. And that's pretty accurate. Okay, now with my 3-part Ron Reynolds color, we'll go ahead and go along the back, top of the head here first. Fade out around the lateral line, maybe a little bit below. Say the upper part of the cheek and the upper part of the gill flap is a good place to go. You go even take maybe a third of it. And you want about a medium coat. You want it pretty good. First I'm going to get this back while I got it like this. Then after I get the back, I'll straighten him back up and show you how we get him from the side. It's probably going to take several passes. Depending on your brush, how much pressure you got. Okay, still got my... So I like to carry it down just slightly below the lateral line. I know the paint schedule, the Ron Reynolds paint schedule, wants you to stop at the lateral line so you can put that blue stripe in. But I like to carry it down lower. Pretty much anywhere I got a spot. You know, fade out where I think my spots are going to stop. And you can be a little bit, if you already have an idea where you're going to put your spots, I think that's pretty good right there. Want to give a little bit of color to the bottom fins, the pectoral, pelvic, and the anal. Just a light coat. Make sure you got a good medium coat. Fade out just below the lateral line. I tend to take it a little farther, but I can always go back up with yellow ochre if I need to. And I'll do the other two fish and I'll show you what we got. One thing I wanted to mention is right here in this area below the lateral line right there, I've run into the problem of making it too light, and you want it sort of dark right here in the midsection. The spots come down relatively low, and you want some color behind those spots, some darkness. And I've run into the problem of it being too light right in here, so just watch out for that. That's why I carry my darkness on down. I still want my stripe to show, so we're going to work on that. Want a nice medium coat. What we're going to do with yellow ochre is right above the pelvic and pectorals. I guess you could say there's an imaginary line where the lower belly, where the upper belly and side meets, that transition area right above the pecs and pectorals. That's where we're going to put our yellow ochre. And then we're going to fade out at the lateral line. And we're going to put some on the lower cheeks and stuff, and right in here. The lower cheek, lower gill. And we're going to fade out. Technically, you could have went to the eye and faded our three color mixture out at the lateral line. That's what it calls for. Because there's going to be so many spots in here you're never going to see really where the transition area is anyway. Where the yellow and the three color mixture meets, is because we're going to have so many spots right there in that area. You can't really see it anyway. Now with our yellow ochre, we're going to start right here at the bottom. Right there where that transition area is, the upper belly and the side meet. And put you a good coat of this on, about a medium coat. Carried my brown down too far, should have stayed at the lateral line, but that's alright. It's a big old trout right here. Have it fade at the lateral line. Lower cheek and the gill area. Do it like you were doing if you were using black. The general color of these guys is a yellow ochre anyway. So we get the jaw with it. And a light coat on all the fins. sure you get all your fins with this yellow. A medium coat. And fade out at the lateral line. Get the lower cheek, lower gills. You can even go up midway or something like that. It's all fine. And make sure you get the lower jaw good. The lower cheek and gills real good. About to where the lateral line is. It probably is best to go ahead and stop at the lateral line. Or maybe just a little bit below with your 3-part mixture. Not going to make that big of a difference anyway. Not the way I mount them. I mean, the way I put my spots on, it's not going to make that big of a difference. But I'm taking this yellow ochre all the way up to the lateral line. Got yellow on all my fins. Heck, it's not even wrong to paint these gills yellow. They get a lot of yellow. And the yellow goes down pretty darn low. Down here, I think I'm going to bring it all the way down. It goes low. That'll be about right. Go ahead and put in that Payne's gray stripe right at the lateral line, more below the lateral line, but a little bit above even, just slightly above. It's about right there. And then we're going to have spots all over it. And even right here, right behind the eye. Right there. Yeah, about like that. Yeah, that's good. Not sure if you can make out because of the glare, but that's about the right intensity of the Payne's gray. You know, just a faint line, but it's there. And you want it wants to be, you want it a little dark enough, although faint enough, but you want it dark enough when you put spots in front of it. You'll still get a hint of it every now and then, you know, in between the spots. Now I've got medium green, and I like to put a little bit on all my fins. Just a hint of it. You want to completely kill out all your other colors, but you definitely want it to look like there's medium green in there. Just a light coat. We can see the Payne's gray stripe a little bit better there, I think. But that's about the intensity that you're looking for. I went ahead and mixed a little bit of iridescent blue over that Payne's gray stripe. Some of the paint schedules call for that. Although it almost looks really good, like, you know, without the iridescent blue on it. Here's another one that shows the iridescent blue over the Payne's gray. Now I've got my rich brown, and I'm going to start on the end of the nose. Just like I do with any fish. Maybe do a little bit of detailing on the face a little. The main thing is this goldish color is going to be more of a copper color after the rich brown goes over. It turns it, it's exactly what it is. It's copper. That's what it turns it into. So I'm going to use this color and fade it the lateral line. We're putting it everywhere we put the 3-part mixture. Now we're going right along the back. Now what it does, it changes the value of this 3-part mixture into more of a copper color. And you want to fade out at the lateral line. You don't want to cover up that Payne's gray stripe, but you want to go right to it. And we're pretty much right at the color that we want right now anyway. This is about the right color right here. And we can also use this to highlight our fins. You know, angle spray the fins, that's what I mean to say. Don't want to kill out a pretty green we put on there. I think this is about the right color. This is about the color we want before putting our spots on. Glare from the lights can play a trick on you. Make you think you're not putting enough, or you're putting too much, or a little bit of everything. Now, if we had gold toner, it'd be perfect for this step. But all I've got is bright orange, but there again, if you put bright orange light enough, it acts like gold toner anyway. We want to give a little bit of, you can tell the difference between this and this. And these are my reference pictures, so I want to tone it a little bit to make it about like this color. You know, the yellow on the belly? So that's my goal. And this orange is strong, but I got it thinned down a lot. I just want to change the yellow. I'm thinning the yellow. Kind of like when I misted peel red on my rainbow trout. This is kind of like the same thing, except it's orange. It makes it one way, I think. But it's still a far cry from it. Not much. put a little bit, like at the base of some of these fins, I think it's pretty good. So just a little hint of it. And while I've got it, well, as you can see, it takes quite a bit of it to hone it in. Well, on a big fish it does anyway. I'm probably going to go with the rich brown, but I'm not going to. Make a good long sweep all the way across and then not stop. When you stop is when you start having patches. That's pretty close right there. Clouds are growing into a little bit of an orange color. I think I want to keep it just like that. Just a hint of it. See, it's still yellow for the most part. See, I toned the yellow down quite a bit. And I'm going to do the other two and catch up. Now I've got white again. And I'm using a good reference picture. And I'm going to put my spots in. But I want my halos to touch, not always, but often, because it just looks better. Make it pretty good size. You want to make them pretty good size. See what I mean by making them touch? Put all my spots in, and then, you know, if I have to make them bigger or whatever to make them touch, I will. I think that's my best route, best way to do it. Kind of get an idea where I want my spots, at least at the bottom. Yeah, they definitely need to be a lot bigger, that's for sure. But here again, I'm just getting an idea. Kind of get a rough format, sort of. Now what I want to do is I want my spots to touch. See how they're touching? Some of them are pretty round, some are not. For intensity, there's some pretty good pictures out there. Let's see, they stay pretty well connected. Start breaking up below the lateral line. They're definitely starting to break up, but it's way on down. Midsection on up. The biggest ones will be right in here. The idea is to maybe make them smaller and farther apart. As you get towards the back, and I use that technique on my lake trout, and it works pretty good. It gives the illusion that the back's already darker because there's less spots. And there's some big ones. Some of them are good and round. Nothing wrong with putting a few little ones here and there. Well, here's kind of what I got. I can always add more spots later or make the halos bigger if I feel like I need to. I'm going to go ahead and get the other ones caught up, and I'll show you what we do next. Well, since I got my white, I might as well go ahead and go around here, because we've only got, since I got my white, and my pressure turned down real low. Not only that, I don't worry about, being perfect, because when I get my black, I can dress all this up and really make it look good. But I'm going along all the grooves. You know, trying to be as controlled as I can. Going in between the gill rakers where the grooves are. You know, like I said, I'm not worried about being perfect because we're going to sweep black over it and it's going to take care of the white overspray and make it look nice. That being said, I'm still going to do the best I can. Okay. Dress up with a little black and it'll look nice. I can even go back and touch up the belly if I want to with this. Oh! Also, you can go a little bit in front of the eye and put that little it's right in front and right in behind. It just shows a little bit, just a little bit. Any overspray on the belly, you can go ahead and lighten it up. Got a little bit of overspray right here. Put a little bit right there. Lighten that up if we wanted to. Now, same thing on this one. And you remember we put all the marks in. Well, that's a good place as any to put our circles in. But not only that, we can add more. I'm going to get that done and show you what I've got. Here again on the head. Just like we did on the other one. Going between the grooves. I think we're going to leave well enough alone on that. But it's going to look okay once you start darkening with black and darken everything up. Find you a good reference picture to put your spots in. That's the way I like to do it. Some people don't even use reference pictures if you're pretty good with it, and you do quite a few of them, which I don't. I don't do a lot of them to be that good. But just find you a good reference picture you want to stick with, and start putting your spots in. And it doesn't hurt to let the halos touch. That's for sure. Not all of them, but you know, a lot of them. That'll be good right there. Want to go no closer down there than that. Or do I? Do one right here. One right there. There we are. No more. Okay. Now work on the body. Just start enlarging spots and making some of them connect. Put new spots in there too. I've got a little bit of silver metallic thinned down with air pressure down real low. And I want to put a little bit in each one of these spots, just a light mist. I misted lightly over all my white spots with a light little dusting of silver metallic, just to change the tone just slightly. Now I've got burnt sienna, and I go right inside those spots. Try to get it right in the center if you can. And you want to leave a halo, but you want a substantial spot. You definitely want to leave that halo. So like that. And I'll show you what it looks like when we get it done. Now when I look at these fish, I'm thinking they're pretty much just about dark enough, you know, except for maybe detailing the fins with black and darkening the back. And then of course the belly with some black and maybe some around the face, you know, a little bit of shading. But other than that, the fish is dark enough. So I want to keep that in mind. Just to run the black pretty much just up on top. 4-step process. Because you've got your white, then your silver, then your burnt sienna, then your dark brown. That's 4 times you got to go over every one of these spots. Now's also a pretty good time to go ahead and clean your eye off again, kind of see what you got. Yep, I thought I'd done pretty good as, you know, trying to match the fins with particular part of the body that they're on, the pelvics and the pecs and the tail. I lightened it up with yellow ochre, went over with a little bit more bright orange, kind of tone it in to make it match the overall color of the fish. Right now is a good time if you wanted to even put more spots in if you wanted to, but they all vary. Some have a lot more spots than others, so you're probably not wrong no matter how you do it as far as how many spots you put. As long as you don't put, you know, not enough. Now I've got my dark brown, and what we're going to do is go through most of these spots. Just like we did before, and you can kind of see what it's doing. I'm going to go ahead and get this done, and I'll show you what we've got. One down, two to go. And since I got my dark brown, I also like to go ahead and, you know, do the back of my fish. You know, if you got your fins parted or whatever. Now about as much detail as you want to put in the back of. About how much you're getting paid to turn them. I just left about 20 or so spots, not much more than 20, maybe 25 or so max. I left some of the spots with the sienna around them, and then I went ahead and put dark brown in the rest of them. And you can even add spots. You know, you can darken all of what you have in and then add more white halos and then put your gill red in, you know, for your center spots. But leaving that totally up to you. So now I've got black, you know, good looking spots on the head. And take your time with them just like you would anything else. Now you want these black spots to go in between these other spots and stop by the time you get to the lateral line. So it's kind of like a phasing effect. Black spots are going down and going in between these and stopping at the lateral line. It just blends everything real good. So that's what we're trying to do. Okay, on the fins, kind of like I did on like a rainbow. On the dorsal, I just made some spots up here on the first, and then I kind of staggered the spots, and then the next row roughly relates to the spot pattern below it. Next relates to the spot pattern below it, just roughly. That's how I did the dorsal. And I put spots all along the top of the head, or top of the back and top of the head. You can see all the spots on top of the head and on top of the back. Spots on the dorsal, even the adipose. And now we're going to do the tail. Now just like on a rainbow or anything, kind of like on the pectoral and pelvic fins on a rainbow, you get the first row of dots goes all the way out to the end. The next one don't go as far. And the next one don't go as far. So I kind of taper off. Just like the pelvic and pectorals on a rainbow, the tail is like that. Where you get the first row of spots goes to the end of the tail, the next one stops out so far, and the next one stops even less than the one previously before it, and so on and so on and so on. So that's how I done it. Just like the pelvics and pectorals on a rainbow. Okay, now I still got my black. Got all my spotting done. I'm going to darken just the top of the head. Just a little. You got to remember, he was almost already good enough. We'll do a little bit of head dressing. Not much. Some of these old mounts are really mounted awfully funky. Ain't hot too. Mounted awfully funky. You remember it's already almost dark enough anyway, so we're just the very top of the back. I'm going to find the very top of the back. I found it. There we go, right through here. Maybe angle spring, bring out your fins. Just a couple of passes. All the way to the end there. There we are. I guess a medium, or kind of a light coat, really. You want to go dark with it. Okay, that's what I kind of got for the back. I kind of like that. What else I'm going to do is put some black underneath here. There's a lot of bad mount damage anyway. It's an old mount, so that'll make it look a little better. But I'm going to go ahead and angle spray my fins using black and bring my fins out. Okay, I've still got my black. I'm going to attempt to angle spray my fins without getting them too dark. Here I just got an old piece of cardboard that I've used several times. I just want to bring the rays out if I can, just without trying to make it too dark. I know it's easier said than done. Very humid outside. We get a storm front that's coming through. It's supposed to pass, but so wonders with the airbrush. I'm going to darken into the jaw a little bit like I always do on every fish. Just while I got it in this good position. Kind of go at an angle that way, go at an angle that way. Well, all these guys have a little darkness right up underneath. In fact, it's not wrong to have it kind of dark under there. Some of them are. I think this one's going to get it, but I don't know about the rest of the guys. Here's what I got for this guy. And now I'm going to finish the other two, and then we'll gloss the fish. You have to be careful with the black. You can almost ruin a fish by putting too much of it on. When you try to highlight your fins with it, you tend to darken your fins too much. You got to be super careful with black. Well, as you can see, I put a lot of smaller and more numerous spots along the back. And I tried to fade them out in between the spots. By the time you get to the lateral line, I didn't put no spots below it. And in many cases, didn't even go to the lateral line. You don't want it to look too fake or anything. But I also noticed the fish is almost dark enough as it is. I don't want to really get the fins much darker. And the fish is pretty much as dark as I want him to be anyway, except for the back. The back could use a few sweets. Because I don't really want to lose what color I've got right here. So just right up the top. And as far as angle spraying the fins, I've got to be very careful because I don't want to darken the fins that much. Now from my reference pictures, it looks like less spots on top of the head as opposed to the back. So what I'm going to do is, on top of the head, I'm going to try to get it where I'm not putting as many spots, a lot less spots in other words. So it's going to be a little bit of a phasing operation with the spots. Kind of fakes it in a little bit. Don't want to abruptly stop putting spots or anything, but just trying to fade it in a little bit. Yeah, about like that. It works for me. Now I'm going to turn the fish where I can get the back You won't worry about dressing up the mouth. Now remember, as I said earlier, I love the color on it. So all I'm doing is going straight along the back. Nothing else. No angle spraying that brings scales out. None of that stuff. I wouldn't until I do a perch to do that stuff. You gotta have really good control of your airbrush. You get the top of the head just a little sweeper here. But that copper color up on top, you can keep that. That's a good thing to do. Mango spray the fins a little. And chancing. Just like that. That's it. That's it. Black's a strong color anyway. It's already highlighted the fins. We're going to pay real concentration here. That's enough. So I highlight my dorsal and I got the back at the same time. Trying to highlight the fin without going too heavy. The other side. Still got my black. Go ahead and highlight your angle the same way. Plenty dark enough. Get your pelvics and your pecs. Go ahead and just enough to bring the fin out. That's it. That's it right there. We're using black. Black is so powerful. You got to use it less than what you think you need. Sorry, I have to get in the way. Just enough to bring some shadowing out. Now we're going to dress the head up. We're going to be done except for gloss. Still got my black. I like the angle spray a little bit from the top. But first, let me put a little bit. You're on the end of the jaw. You can always touch it with water if you mess up a little bit. I do it often. Sure you need something that'll work. You gotta, you wanna darken your gills up, you know, they got a little bit of black or something, you know? out like that. Not much more than that. And make sure your back is like that you want it. So we shaded a little bit right there. That's all we needed. Oh yeah, after after you get done with your black and your fish is done for the most part, make sure you clean the eye off, because yeah, you don't want to gloss it and have the eyes kind of dark where you didn't clean the eyes off. Well, it's the same thing here. I don't want to drown out that pretty copper color on the back. I don't want to drown that out. I want to keep that copper color, but I do want to tone the back now. What it is you just want to stay right on top of the black. A lot of times I'll even miss my designated line. And we'll spray that dorsal fin just to bring it out. It's already almost too dark. We're going to stop it right there. Well, that's pretty much it. I'm leaving the copper color right there on the side. Just darkening the back a little. Set up my black. Now we're going to dress up the head a little bit. And what I mean by dressing up is I got my black. It's typical for a lot of trout, char, and everything. It will have a little bit of that black. I feel like you need to carve a little bit to keep preferably from the upward angle. You just want to shade that lower cheek and gill area. It's typical in most trout. Shade the lower jaw a little bit, both sides. When you get too carried away with the shape, sometimes you can see it. When you get to the eye, you go straight up. You maybe dip down to where the gills and cheeks begin, a little bit of shading, and then go straight up to the back. That's the way I've been doing it. The way I do my bass and everything. I dare not go any dark. Bring color out. I see color. That's good enough. Do the same to the pelvic. Just bring color out. Start the fin. Bring out those little gill rays. We are. Like come up from the bottom and go back down. Just enough to bring them out. Black is strong. There you go. Oh, wow, yeah. Bring the rays in fast too. That's good enough for that. And on these trout, whether they're rainbows or browns or brooks, it's real easy to darken them too much. So I've learned that if you have to suffer with not getting your fins to stand out good enough by angle spraying them, then so be it, because you don't want your fin to look foggy black, and you don't want your fins too dark. And both of those happen if you try to angle spray too much with your dark colors. So I just get the fin rays where they show on these trout, and then I'm done. Same with the back. It's easy to go too dark. One example is this guy. The other two are good, but see how I went too dark on these fins? I mean, I'm not going to worry too much about it because I'm going to recorrect it. I'm going to just repaint the fins, paint them white, then yellow. You know, just start over again on the fins. Can't do much for the body, but I can straighten the fins up. Okay, doing corrective surgery on this guy, on the fins. And maybe a little on the jaw. I'll put a little bit of, painted the fins white, then yellow ochre. Now I'm going in with a medium green. And after that, a little bit of the gold toner or bright orange thinned down a lot to make it look, tone it in with the belly a little bit. Well, that's what I come up with. Fins are still kind of dark, but that looks okay for me. Okay, I've got the gill red with just like a drop or two of black in it, and what it does, it changes the red, makes it real dark. I'll use this to kind of mist over, just to add a little color to the tongue area. Well, just like on a rainbow trout, I'll add a little bit of color to the tongue area. Go straight down the middle of the throat there. Try to get those gills a little bit. Just like that. So now I've got a little bit of white and a little cap or something. And I'm going to go ahead and wipe my teeth back up. Or you can angle spray with your airbrush if you're that good. You gotta admit the teeth on this guy looks pretty awesome. A lot of people probably like that. Here's kind of a close-up look at the spot pattern that I've got. See how I've got the copper up on top, and then the little black spots kind of work their way in right to about the lateral line. Come up with, seems like when the black spots go a little bit in between those spots with the halos, it gives the illusion that the halos are like kind of up on top of the black spots or something. I mean, it has a good effect. Now I've got gloss top coat, and we gloss the fish. put what's called a flash coat on first. Just sets the paint. In other words, you don't want to put it on so hard. That it starts dripping on you. And you let that dry a few minutes. And then you put you another heavier coat on. Well, as you can see, the trout on the bottom is considerably darker. And it's all from the back. It was the first one I done. And sure enough, I went too far down with the black on my back and kind of killed the copper. It was up on top, and I kind of wanted to leave that. And I also tried to brighten the fins up as much as I could. But it's just going to have to be a little bit darker fish. But the other two are pretty close to the way I wanted them. But the fish are glossed, and this is how I paint a brown trout.